Good morning, students. Today we will continue with the same part of the lesson. I think you remember the name of the lesson. The name of the lesson is The Snake and the Mirror. And do you remember the story? We have completed the story of the snake and the mirror. And today we have to continue with the grammatical part of this lesson. I think you remember the story. Do you remember the name of the author? Yes, the name of the author is Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. And do you remember the story? Yes, the snake and the mirror is a frightening tale told in a humorous way. The story has been written by V.M. Bashir, as well known as Malayalam writer. The incident in the story is both humorous and frightening. It also has a surprise ending. It is about a doctor's encounter with a snake in his room. An unmarried doctor with a with a very little income lived in a small rented room. The valuables in his room were some shirts, dhotis, a black coat, a vest, a box, a large mirror, a small comb, a kerosene lamp, a box of matches, a bed, and 60 rupees of money in a suitcase. The room had no electricity, but it had many rats on its beams making noise. On a summer on a hot summer night, the doctor reached his room after finishing his meal. He heard a familiar noise from above as he opened the door. He lighted the kerosene lamp and took off his clothes and hung them. As he could not sleep, he sat down on the chair and started reading the book, the Materia Medica, at the table on which stood the lamp and the large mirror. He felt tempting and took a look into the mirror. He began to admire his handsomeness and adjusted the parting of his hair. He had many youthful thoughts and decided to grow a thin mustache and to have an attractive smile on his face. Meanwhile, the doctor heard that sound 2 times from above. He continued to have some more funny and silly thoughts like marrying a fat rich woman doctor. Suddenly there came a dull sound if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. When he turned to look what it was, a snake landed on his shoulder. The doctor became silent and did not make a move in fear. The snake coiled around his left arm. He sat in the chair like a stone image in panic mood, holding his breath. Fortunately, the snake turned its head. It looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. It slowly moved into his lap, crept onto the table, and moved towards the mirror. The doctor became a normal man and got up from the chair. He quietly went out through the door and ran till he reached a friend's house. The next morning, he took his friend and one or two others to his room to move his things. But to his surprise, all his valuables were stolen by a thief except his dirty waist. He felt it was an insult for him, the thief leaving his waist, treating it as a useless thing. Finally, the doctor laughed, saying that the snake was attracted by its own beauty and he had never seen it since. So, I think you remember till here. So, we have uh, discussed the story in the last class. Now we will move towards the grammatical part. First, you can see the glossary. Glossary: full blooded means full blooded means strong. Meager, small in quantity. Solitary, single. Waist, a garment worn under a shirt, a piece of a piece of underwear. Gable, upper part of a wall below a sloping roof. Parting, a line on a person's head where the hair is divided with a comb. Pace, to walk up and down many times. Thud, a dull sound made when a heavy object falls. Wringle, moved by twisting and turning. Slithered, move or glided. Quarters, parts of the body. Hood, hood, an expanded part of a snake's head. Molten, heated to a very high temperature. Lurk, be about or lie in wait. Mascara, a substance put on eyelashes to make them look dark and thick. Vermilion, bright red in color. I was no image cut in granite. The doctor no longer stood there like a statue. Means the meaning of I was no image cut in granite means the doctor no longer stood there like a statue. A man of flesh and blood. Meaning of a man of flesh and blood is a normal man. Reedy, not pleasant. Sprinter, a fast runner. Taken with means attracted by. These are the glossary. Now we will see the Roman number 2. It has here is a list of sentences from the story. Tick the sentences that tell you that the doctor was afraid of the snake. In the box we have some sentences. By reading those sentences we have to tick whether the doctor was afraid of the snake or not. So we will see the first one. I didn't tremble. I didn't cry out. Did the doctor cried out? No, but I didn't tremble, but he was trembling with fear, right? So the doctor is afraid. So write yes or tick right mark in your book which where the space is provided. If you see the box, you can see sentence, serial number, sentence, boxes for ticking. So in that first one, you tick right or write yes. Second one is I sat there holding my breath. By this sentence, we can understand that the doctor was afraid. So write yes or tick right mark. Third is I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself. It doesn't explain the fear of doctor. Means it doesn't explain that doctor was afraid. So tick into mark. Holding my breath, I got up from the chair. It explains that doctor was afraid. So you tick right or write yes. Fifth one, I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. So it also explains about the fear of the doctor. So you tick right or write yes. Sixth, I don't claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror. It doesn't explain about the fear of doctor. So you write no or tick into mark. So the first one is right, second is right, third is wrong, fourth one is right, fifth one is right, sixth one is wrong. Now we will move towards vocabulary part. Tick right the correct tick the correct meaning of the words underlined below. This first one is you can see in your textbook. The house was not electrified. For this, we have to find the correct meaning of that word. So you have which one you will be ticking? The meaning of the word the house was not electrified. What is the meaning for that? Is it there was no electricity in the house, or the house was not away from the electricity board? C, the house was not lit up. So which one will match with the underlined word? Yes, it is there was no electricity in the house. First one is A. Tick A. Second one. The earnings were meager. Earnings were meager. Meaning of meager is it very high or very small or nil? Yes, it is very small. Meager means very small. Second one is B. Tick on B. Third, I also possessed one solitary black coat. Meaning of solitary is single, unique, expensive. Yes, it is single. Third one is A. Fourth, I made another earth shaking decision. What is the meaning of earth shaking? Is it valuable, dangerous, important? Yes, it is important. Fourth one is C. Important. Fifth one. The room was surrounded by darkness. Meaning of surrounded is it full of, covered, encircled? Yes, it is encircled. Fifth one is C. Some thief had removed most of my things. Removed. Meaning of removed is damaged, restored, stolen. Which one? Yes, it is stolen. Sixth one is C. Tick right on the C. Now, second section. Read the following sentence from the text and notice the underlined word. Suddenly, there came a dull thud as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. In this sentence, which word is underlined? Thud. Thud means I have already give you the meaning of the word thud. Do you remember? Yes, thud means a low, dull sound. Here is a list of words related to sounds. Say what these sounds mean. Refer to a dictionary. So, like the word thud, here in the below box, they have given some words. So, we have to find the meaning of those words and we have to write. We will see what are those words: bang, clang, buzz, ring. You have to find the meanings of these words from the dictionary and you have to write. This is the homework for you. And we will move to the third section. Use the linkers given in the box to complete the story. A linker may be used more than once. We will see this paragraph. So, for filling this paragraph, here they have given us few words. We will see what those words are: as if, but, who, when, which, so, while. By using these words, we have to complete this paragraph. So, we can repeat these words while filling the paragraph. Now, we will see this. A young doctor lived in a village. The doctor told his friends an interesting story about himself and a cobra. It was a hot summer night. Dash, he opened the door. Means when. You have to write when in that blank. When he opened the door, he heard a sound. Dash was very known to him. What you will be writing in that blank? Which was well known to him. He heard a sound which was well known to him. Write which. He and Rats shared the room. There was no electricity in the house. Dash, he took out a box of matches. What? So he took out a box of matches. Write so in the blank. So he took out a box of matches and lit a kerosene lamp. He took off his clothes and lay down. Dash, he could not sleep. But, write but in the blank. But he could not sleep. He got up from the bed and started reading a story book. Near the table there was a mirror. Dash tempted to look into at himself. What you will be writing? Near the table there was a mirror. Which you have to write which in the blank. Which tempted him to look into at himself. He was unmarried. Dash, he was particular about his handsomeness. What you will be writing in that blank? So he was unmarried, so he was particular about his handsomeness. He wanted to marry a woman doctor. Dash had plenty of money. Who had? You have to write who in that blank. He wanted to marry a woman doctor who had plenty of money and should be fat. Again, you find a blank here. A dash, he was having such thoughts while, right? While, WHILE, while he was having such thoughts, suddenly he felt dash again, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. In that blank, you have to write as if. Suddenly, he felt as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground when a snake landed on his shoulder. Dash. After the ground, here what you see, a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Dash, a snake landed on his shoulder. Write when in that blank. So what it will be? A rubber tube had fallen to the ground when a snake landed on his shoulder. At that time, the only thing he could do was to pray to God. The snake would bite him at any moment. Dash, suddenly it turned its head. Again, you find a blank here. What it is, you have to fill with but. B-U-T, but. The snake would bite him at any moment, but. Suddenly, here you have to fill the blank with but. But suddenly, it turned its head and started admiring its beauty in the mirror. The doctor was thus saved. So students, your homework is you have to find the meanings of these words. Which one? Bang, clang, buzz and ring. You have to find the meanings for these 4 words. This is your homework and we will continue with the remaining part of the grammar in the next session. Thank you students. Have a good day.